Video right now explaining what's going on. The Maryland State Police are pirating people's accounts, like my Hotels.com account. Adam Conley tried to say that it was his account, a state police officer. And how is your account, Aaron Pastor Thompson, AOL.com? So the Maryland State Police tried to murder me so they could get away with stealing money. And the federal government tried to cover it up for them because it causes too much social outrage to do anything about it. And these people are murdering and executing lawyers' families so they can seize control over money in the form of terrorism. And then the federal government tried to cover it up for them when they tried to set a bomb off against the public using my identity. And first they framed me for robbing a gas station. Then they try to play their drugs off on me. Then they try to frame me for making an explosive device. They try to set off against the public. And instead of prosecuting, they tried to cover it up for them because it'll cost them too much money. But it came out of Centerville, Maryland, and they're trying to pirate my accounts and break into my identity. And basically, I'm trying to recover the money that was stolen from my father. Was a lawyer that went to Texas Christian University, and they pulled his family out of their bed at night and murdered them, and cut the wife's head off and fucking tortured the little kid. And then they couldn't mimic me because I was involved in an automobile I was involved in an automobile accident. So there's some scar damage on the back of the arm from the motorcycle. Because what happened was I was carrying a shirt and I had it like it was the last day of school, so I was carrying all my stuff home from school, and the shirt was wrapped around the arm, like tied. And I tried to leave it there, but the neighbor woman, my mother told her not to put me on dirt bike. She did anyway, but it tied the shirt around the arm, and the shirt hit the wheel and pulled the arm in, and it like locked into the chain. I was young, so like it caused scar damage on the back of it, but it's still a hand and it still moves. You know what I mean? It's still an arm. It's still got fingernails on it, but it was a little bit damaged. But what happened was the Maryland State Police formed to a genocide union and murdered the family. And if you ask them why, they say because it was you. Basically because that they could, and tried to do sick medical test experiments with me. And when I called the police to report it, the first thing I did was get away from them. And then when I got away from them, I called the police to report it, and I called 911. The police came, and I realized what had happened, and they put me in a gas chamber and started torturing me, and then tried to impale me and barbecue me over a fire. Seriously. And the federal government tried to cover it up for them. So the only thing I know left to do, because they're persistent and they won't stop, is to make videos of it and put it on the internet and explain what had gone on and occurred. And these people are like delusional, and they're violent extremists, and they're irrational, and they're radical, and they're trying to kill me. So, and I knew this the whole time, but I'm trying to recover the money in the accounts which was stolen, and I will put a reward on the money if I can get it returned. For the money that was stolen by the Maryland State Police through the Queen Anne's County Police Department, following some form of terrorism that's coming through the court system, and both the judges and everybody were in on it. So I'm doing what I can to get the money back, and I guess I don't know. I don't know what else to do. They stole my car. I called the police about that. Couldn't get that back. Um, Ridiculous. It's just been ongoing destruction of property, stalking, and violence over the course of the last 15 years, and it's a problem because it's forming into population control, which is illegal. But it's the use of state. It's the use of government resources and state military agents for personal conspiracy gain. Those lines being terrorism. So uh, they're trying to steal money. They're being violent. They're sending me death threats. They're using blood. They're using everything they can to try and threaten my life. Making threats to me that they're gonna put my teeth in their mouth. And I said, no, you're not. So, but I was born with a perfect set of pearly teeth naturally, like this. I got wisdom teeth and everything. But it was relative. That's why I said I try not to flash them at people like when I'm talking. I try not to, but they are. It is a really nice set. But they intend to put my teeth in their mouth, and that's part of terrorism. So what I'm doing, I've been filing it from the FDIC, and I'm hoping that a group of lawyers can pick up. Uh, I'm hoping that a group of lawyers can pick up the case and recover the money for me, or know how to get back into it, because they said that basically, even if they can't get to it, they're gonna try. They're gonna try and take me out anyway. So it's only a matter of finding a systematic order, what process holds federal agents responsible, and they say that there is none. And I'm telling you that there's going to be one by the time I'm done. And when I get your name and I get you in a courtroom, he's dead. He's dead. He's gone. So whatever I can do to get this money back, whatever it takes, whatever I have to do, it would have to still be in my name, and was as of 2011. Um, is a large amount of money. It was a huge amount of money. It came from, it was a combination. It was a combination of a manufacturer settlement and other things too. And I'm already in possession of an, I don't want to use numbers, but I already am in possession of another large amount of money, which is mine, more than $1 million. And people will do anything to get to these types of money. So I'm doing everything I know how to do to try and fight them and stop them, but it's hard. Like, I'm doing everything I know how to do though. Like, I'm contacting. I started to call the police, county police, state police, federal government, and nobody really seems willing to run in and arrest a group of 30 or 100 people over terrorism. So because it causes a social outrage. So, and that's typical, and they all come to defend each other for what they did. But they were making videos of like decapitating women and stuff like that, and like watching them and stuff, and like all these mercenaries were involved, like the West Mesa Bone Collector, and so it's because it's showing the world how violent and extreme the American government really is, and it's showing the public the true face and the true nature of what they do, which is really radical and extreme. And it's some combination factors, but they're not really willing to make a public statement nationwide of what they really do, and they planned it from the start from multiple angles many years ahead of time. It came through these government departments such as Homeland Security in Centerville, Maryland, and they kill people. They do. So, um, and the appearance of people in the area um, who really shouldn't be there. I'm not trying to condescend or attack anybody, but when Jamaican royalty shows up in a small town offside Centerville, Maryland, that's a concern. And when it has 40 at the time had 46 children, um, and that's a concern to me too. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. That really is. And then sends their kid to private school, and I just have to wonder, why would you want to pay more for private school for your smallest child? That doesn't make sense. So terrorism is in the area and is in effect. So I made a blog and put a list of the story as it happened, as it escalated, which started with the state police robbing the house for jewelry, and escalated into other forms of crime, to the point that they were switching people out over money. And I'm warning everybody that this is possible, and they get very, very, very close. So, what they intended to do when I called the police is depict me as a schizophrenic in the eyes of the public, to get it by damaging my brain, to get away with their crime in the eyes of the state, is how they do it. But I'm not schizophrenic. My brain did heal, just took a few years, but they were gassing me for like 1,000 hours and like beating me, they were using their feces and stuff, and I'm not gonna explain the entire sickness of it, but I was like screaming out. They had to let me go because I was screaming out the window, help, 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 because there was a crack and I saw somebody walking by, and it got me out of there, thankfully. But um, they're dirty. They try not to turn their lights on. They try not to do anything. And every time they come up to me, I just take my camera out and record them. And for the most part, it deters them, because people will look. Because I added 5,000 people on Facebook, so it'll come back eventually. Eventually, it will circulate and become public knowledge, but it just takes a matter of time. And making the videos, to be sure that they're arrested for their multiple coinciding conspiracies. And if any lawyers out there know how to get their hands on the money, Father was a smarter man. He had a higher intelligence. So did I. So I know that they can't get to it, but without me, and that's part of the thing, is they're intending and trying to extort me, by trying to create crime, like trying to frame me for murder and things like that, so they can overpower the court system, so they can get a life in prison sentence, so they can try and get me to unlock the money for them and give them the money that I'm in possession of through means of extortion through the state police, by pointing the finger at groups they're actually in control of. If you get it, some people get it, some don't. It's kind of complicated, but then again, not really all that complicated. So I make the videos and I'm putting them online and I'm sending them out across the world. Just beware and be warned. These people are violent extremists. They're radical. They're out of control. When they can, where they can. They're especially targeting lawyers because that control over the courtroom. Terrorists always go for lawyers, but that control over the courtroom is like essential, and the federal government is refusing to do anything about terrorism. So they had planned years in advance to try and create the death penalty, but when they couldn't get it, they decided they were going to do it anyway, because I didn't fall for the trap and the trick anymore. So they're trying to extort me, and they think that I'm going to pay them the money or whatever, or however they're trying to set it up, and I'm not letting them do it. So let me think what else I can say in this video before I get in. They got the computer screen on backwards, so I look this way. I'm trying to get adjusted to it and adapt to it, but it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. What else do I say? If anybody can get it back, I want to get the money back if I can get it back. And I would like to get the hostages released. They've been asking me to buy a cigarette like 1,500 times in a row, which is them asking me if I'm willing to pay for the hostages that they've taken, and my answer is no. I've continuously called the police, but because it's a county police department and because of all these high-powered people involved and responsible, there somehow managed the ability to cover it up, and it's terrorism. So, unfortunately, I was born and wrapped up into a county involved in terrorism. So it happened. But I actually am the owner of NASDAQ, and I actually was the owner of Queenstown Bank too. And I actually am the richest man in America, and they really actually did kill my family. And that shit's serious, and they will do it for anybody. So when anybody gets this message, and when anybody knows how to do this, get somebody. The military is coming together with the state, with these people, to kill rich people's families and overthrow companies. Seriously, one of the owners. It's a percentage ownership, but I am a percentage owner. You know that how stocks are divided, depending on how you look at it. I'm not expert on stocks, but depending on how you look at it, how it's split, how the stocks are lined up, I am a percentage owner of it. So, it's ridiculous, but people will do anything to get to and control large amounts of money, and this is what they did. So just beware and be warned again that they're targeting American companies, targeting, killing people and switching them out by form of terrorism coming through the Maryland State Police, and that they're refusing to arrest police officers for crime who believe that they can try and create the reason why they did what they did by trying to incriminate people for the actions of their agents, which is illegal. It's entrapment, but I'd rather say creating a crime. I'd rather say creating the crime than I would say entrapment. Yeah. So whenever anybody gets this, but the military is refusing, I'm telling you, it's supporting the principle that if you go out there, you kill rich people or target lawyers or kill people, that you die. So I'm not letting it go, and I'm not dropping it. I'm putting up videos on the internet so that whoever gets this message, I want it filed in as many courthouses, as many military places, as many things as you can. And all these terroristic military firms are surrounding me, attacking me, trying to force their way in my home. Excuse me. And say that they won't leave. And just like that, I just burped, and they say that I'm choking. I'm not choking. They're ill. And see, that's the problem, is that these people have no education, no purpose, no point, and they come along, they kill somebody, and then they say, oh, this one's really got it. You do see what I'm saying? And then it becomes, you got how many, 2 million a year, or every 5 or 10 years another 2 million soldiers or surplus people that are like trained to kill, and they just go out there, and the military and the federal government, the Supreme Court, refuses to do anything about it. They say that they can't control it, so they end up starting targeting American companies and American people so they can get to their money. So I've been staying in the city because they can't, because of Skycam. I'm not explaining the technical science of what goes on, but I'm just explaining to you that they can't, because they can't break into hotels, because it'll just spiral out of control. So I sleep in hotels and stuff. But these military terrorists and terroristic investigation firms, such as Allied Universal, which is not even actually really a company, just an organization of military felons that blow things up, is like following me around the country, making appearances anywhere they go. Anytime you see that sign, anytime you see that tag, it's murder, it's terrorism. They're heartless. They don't care if you have kids. They don't care if you went to college. They don't care if you're educated. They don't care anything. They'll kill you. They're dangerous. They're violent shit. And it's overthrowing the court system. It's overthrowing the nation. Basically, what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up making a stand, which they're planning to do. Abolishing rights, and the economy's going to collapse. And they're going to hoard everything from the top on down. And it's just a bad situation. But I'm 31 years old. I want to take my money out. I want out, because I see this. This system is completely collapsing and crumbling. And I see it, so I think everybody can do what they want, but I think I'm gonna take what I got, and I think I'm gonna go. I don't see it getting better. I only see it getting worse. If I have to, if my own government's gonna seek to destroy and kill over money, and then nobody's gonna stand against that, and you'll go out there and execute lawyers and things like that, I'm not staying around for this. These are all precursors of war lining up. It really is, and I see how they did it. They did it through population control. Was the ability to seize control over the media, was the ability to seize control over the courtroom, was the control they needed to create their army, to disrupt social order, to cause what in the long run is going to be a war. Don't listen. I almost always am right. Don't listen to me. If you don't want to listen to me, don't listen to me. But I'm telling you it's true. And just what else can I say? Just a lot of radical, violent, extremist activity coming through state police barracks now. A lot of videos, a lot of everything, and the federal government's refusing to do anything about it at all. So if you're going to refuse to defend your own country and refusing it, then I'm just going to go. So I get the money out. Like I said, the West Mesa bone collector was involved in this case, he was an ex-mercenary that claimed to go. He said he went to West Point Academy. I checked, he did not go to West Point Academy. And just even that alone is enough. But he was going out at night killing women. His name was Donald Lewis. He's some old African black guy, and they're radical extremists. And look, they're trying to depict me as a drug addict. Well, I've never been addicted to anything in my entire life. I'm not a drug user. Look, I got 3 years of hair on my head. I will prove it to you. There's no drugs in my system. I'm not a drug user. Have I ever drank a beer? Yeah, I drink a beer every once in a while, but. And that people hate me for saying that, but a lot of people feel strongly against consumption of alcohol, but that's typical in my society, so I really don't care. So, but I can if I want to. But I'm definitely not a drug addict or a drug dealer, as they try to depict me as in the image of the state and the image of the profile that they create, trying to steal things. And this is they're breaking it down to a technical science to kill people and steal money. And like I said, all the way back to the beginning of time, the mafia always has been the police. But it's still the law. It's still illegal, and they still get held accountable. Do people see my point? That all the way to the beginning, that we know that I'm in New York City right now. It's the first thing that came to my mind. We know that the mobsters in the 1920s were in the police, but they broke the law. Do you see the point? And so, in that sense, you're held accountable. You're not gonna say that you killed people and stole money and did this and did that, but I'm in the police. It doesn't work like that. So you say, not over me, or not over who, or not over who. What do you mean, not over me? Well, how many victims or how many bodies are there? More than 100, probably more than thousands. Not over me. What about all the other 1,000 people they hurt and killed? Not over them either. I'm right. So I'll figure out what I'm gonna say else after this video. State police. Not over who. So if that's the way that it is, and like I said, I guess that's the way that it is. I guess they all sit around and watch. They want ask me to come watch videos of them cutting women's heads off. And they tried to get me and tried to get me and tried to get me to identify with this. And I just refused. And see, I have a higher level of brain development than they do, as a proven scientific fact. And I ain't into killing women. I live in a really brightly lit, happy, healthy reality. The air, the earth, I wake up in the morning feeling good, and these people roll out of bed miserable every single day. I don't think people with healthy brains would do something like that. I think it takes a low brain chemistry to do something like that, and it's true. Try to get me to watch and make videos of cutting women's heads off. I ain't down. So I'm trying to get the money back. I'm leaving. I recommend anybody else that gets this video, do what you can. Anybody else that gets this video, do what you can and get the fuck out of here, because these people are nuts. They're violent as shit. Or if there's any states that aren't completely cracked, yeah, I think it may be better on the West Coast than the East Coast. But I'm from the East Coast, so I like the East Coast. But it's bad. It's just really bad. So I don't like it. I just don't like it. I'm just not into it. I don't like violent extremism. So, what else can I say in the video? I ain't putting this one online. It's 22 minutes right now. Let's try. I'm gonna go for a half hour. See if I can say more. The more words, the more length the video, the more time, the better. What I did was call police, but in having to overwhelm terrorism, I had to make a channel, and from that, I had to do this. But if Allied Universal and these little military firms have been told, and this is another issue, they're not responding to the Supreme Court. They're not responding to the law. They're not responding to anything. They're completely out of control. And they're like demanding and insisting that I accept them. Like they tried to give me another person's identity and tell me to go. I said, no, I'm not using somebody else's identity. It's mine. But they're demanding and insisting that they're going to be part of my life, and I am like insisting and demanding that they're arrested, lined up against the wall, and shot in the head. Seriously, they're terrorists, and they're demanding, and I'm demanding that they're killed. I'm demanding the death of them. I'm not backing down on terrorism. And anybody else that does is a bitch. I'm not backing down to terrorism. I'm just not. If they kill me, then they kill me. But still, I ain't backing down to them. I'm not. I expect everybody else that hears this and gets this not to either. You ain't getting away with that. Serial killers either. I don't back down on that either. I don't glorify. They do this every single time. It always is somebody in the police. A few of them are in the church, but it always is somebody in the police being a serial killer. And they always try and idolize them and glorify them, and they always try and protect them. And I said, no, absolutely not. Serial killers don't walk free. We're not going to idolize serial killers and terrorists. And if they are, then I'm leaving. No. Ridiculous. It happens every single time. They're so familiar and so comfortable with their ability to block it through the Maryland State, with their ability to block it by being a police officer. And most of them don't have criminal records. I ain't backing down on terrorism, dude. You try to bomb the public. I'm not letting that go. Serious. It's as serious as it gets. So, give me a stress disorder. I'm fine now. So whoever out there gets this, I am trying to push the charges. Try to impale me and shit. They're violent. So If they ain't gonna fight terrorism, then I'm leaving. But do what you want as you want. I'm just saying that it is going on. It is. It's in full effect. I don't think it can be stopped. Once it's started, once that cycle starts of genocide, it's once it takes its hold, once that seed is planted, once that it happens, they're trying to kill me the most brutal, painful, meanest way possible for having and said done nothing wrong, nothing illegal, and didn't say anything to them at all. They're just violent extremists. And they're always going to find somebody to blame it on, something to do about it. But they're violent extremists. So this video is going on the channel. What was I thinking of? I almost had something else. The violent extremism. But it is going on. Population control is in effect. Once that seed is planted, you won't be able to stop it. And it's already happened many other places in the world. But once it starts, you can't stop it. If you get in a car accident, they're gonna come to your house and kill. It's evolving into this. If you get in a car accident, they're gonna come kill your whole family. Seriously, if your kid gets a paper cut at school, they'll kill him for it. It's because what it starts and what it finishes at. Once genocide and population control take hold over the public, it's done. It'll overthrow the court system, and it already did. So the nature of it is gonna evolve and shift and get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, till inevitably it's gonna either shift on a group of people, a religion, or another country. And the odds of it starting a war in the long run are very high. That's just what happens. It's the social tracks and patterns of humanity. So when you find it, where you find it, you have to destroy it. Because they will. If you leave them unmaintained for long enough and nobody's there, they will. And come together and form into a union. Germany's system, if you look at study it, the Nazis started off as a rich group of lawyers and doctors, and Adolf Hitler's system was actually more advanced than ours is now. But it happened, and when these things take hold and they start to escalate, you have to destroy it, or it's going to inevitably result in catastrophe or the death and destruction of how many innocent people. Again, more. How many is it now? A lot. I don't know how many, but started off, and then they made a stand. They started off as a group of lawyers and doctors, and then the government and this police made a stand, and then a leader took hold, and it turned into a mass genocide. It's the same exact cycle and pattern of humanity as what's going on right now. Look, that's true. So, 2 more minutes, I'm gonna call the end of this video. And they were going to. So, I think they're a danger and a threat to everybody. And they always think that things will be better then. Why is nothing ever good enough for you people? They send their food back to the kitchen every single time. I'm like, why is nothing ever good enough for the people? The way to anything, the clothes, the food, the shelter, the women, anything. All they do is complain. Nothing ever good enough for them. Nothing. Just the way that they are. 1 more minute. I'm going for 30. And I don't know. They're trying to murder me and put me to sleep. But what they tried to make me watch the videos of them murdering my innocent family members before I die. And I don't deserve that. I didn't do anything. So if anybody's going to stand up for what's right, or anybody knows the lines or the tracks that hold the system together, help me out if you can. Get it filed in as many places as possible, because I don't deserve. This is not right. They plan to try and create the death penalty so they can steal money, and I want the money returned. And if any lawyers are powerful enough or have the course of action to get the money back, I will give you a significant percentage reward if you want it. I mean, that's how the world works. That's how the world turns. But If you want it, if anybody knows how to get it back, I'm trying to get it back. But if I can't get it back, I can't get it back. But I'm probably gonna go to some other place in the world because these people are insane. They're violent. They're out of control, and they're hurting too many people. So that's the end of this video.